If you want all of your data in one place, you need the Intuit ERP. I'm Damon John, and I run my growing business on Intuit Enterprise Suite. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
The Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
There are 3 victims we know of. The suspect is female, white, late 20s.
Female serial killers
Kill for power, control. I believe there's a deeper motivation here.
You have no idea who you're dealing with, and you are going to end up dead.
I've been waiting for you.
Watch the Hulu original series, Furious, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+ for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
I can't stop scratching my downtown. Yeah, but I'm not itching to go downtown and tell a receptionist I'm here to talk about my downtown. Some things you'd rather type than say out loud.
There's no question too embarrassing for Amazon Health AI. Chat your symptoms and get virtual care 24/7. Healthcare just got less painful.
This episode is supported by FX's The Shards, a seductive drama from executive producer Ryan Murphy. Set in 1980s Los Angeles, the series follows a group of glamorous, deeply entangled high school seniors drawn into a life of wealth, beauty, parties, and excess. At its center is Brett, whose reality begins to unravel when the arrival of a new student coincides with a series of mysterious murders. FX's The Shards premieres August 5th on FX and Hulu.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the individuals participating in the show. All persons described or mentioned in the podcast should be considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This podcast contains subject matter such as violence and graphic descriptions along with adult language, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Good evening. Or morning, I don't know when you listen. Guten Morrow. Anywho, tonight we have 2 very different cases from very different parts of the country, but both are very mysterious. It's weird. So tonight we bring you the case of It's 2 for Tuesday.
Search continues today for 2 missing kayakers in Groton.
Authorities say 21-year-old Spencer Mugford and 20-year-old Sophia McKenna were paddleboarding near Avery Point in Groton around 2 a.m. Sunday morning and haven't been seen since.
Welcome to a deep, dark, dank, moist basement somewhere in the bowels of Georgia. All hate mail goes to Coach at MysteriousBrews.com because he didn't say... You're listening to my Mysterious Brews podcast, and tonight we bring you. He just left it hanging there. So that's why there's a big gap.
Well, I didn't want to screw up the names. I remembered one of them, and then there's 2 names on the second one, and I was going to mess it up.
We don't want that now, do we? Because
just a little different than it's, people need some variety.
We gotta hold the one take coach streak up. It's a big whopping 3. But anyway, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we did take off. I have had PD. I've had enough PD to PD me. But
that's what happens when you take yourself a new job in a new state.
Yeah, there's a lot of it going on. So. But anyway, new chapter back at the off the soup kitchen line, I guess. I got a decent little raise. I've been kind of stagnant for 10 years, but it all paid off and it served its purpose. So, but anyway, and we always make fun of it, but our buddy that we talk about, I think they're going to call him to ask and see if he wants to come coach defensive line. I'll have fresh stories.
Oh, crap. That'll be awesome.
I will hot mic his ass at practice, and we will have days.
Just ask him, buddy. Hey, man, can you tell us, do you know of any weird cases when you was growing up? Was there an unsolved murder in your hometown or something? Well, let me tell you. And then he'll tell you, and then you go, hey, you want to put that on our podcast?
No.
What the hell is a podcast?
What?
Everything I cast is a fishing line, son.
Yeah. And it's too damn hot to fish right now. He would tell me that during the summer. I was like, Coach, you want to go fishing one evening? Hell no. I was like, why not? He goes, it's too damn hot. But anyway.
What? Go ahead.
Go ahead, because I'm going to look up and see if we had any new patrons.
Well, my story might be a little long, but it's the damn truth, and it's one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
Oh, this is a good one. Buckle up, Buttercups. This has nothing to do with what we're covering, but it's a good one.
I legitimately had a glitch in the Matrix. 100% unadulterated glitch in the Matrix. And I don't know what to think about. I don't know how to explain it and how to think about it. It freaks me out. Okay, I got this here car, all right? A few years back, I popped a tire on it and found out I did not have a spare, I did not have a jack, and I did not have a tire iron in the back of my car. Okay? Had to get the son of a bitch towed and get it. I didn't go to the dealership. I took it to some mom and pop place because it was where it was close to. Got me a tire replaced. No problem. For the past 2 years, I've had in my Walmart checkout basket online, I've got a spare tire, a jack, and a tire iron in my little cart waiting for me to buy it. Well, excuse me, I had to burp. My fault. Dramatic pause. Well, about 2 weeks ago, there's ants in my car. There's ants everywhere. And I try to trace back where they're coming from, how they're getting in there. Maybe they built a nest somewhere. And you can tell that they're going in through the back seat into the trunk. And I said, oh, okay. And I opened the trunk, trying to find the ants. I lift up the little cardboard thing in the carpet that is caved in because there was never a spare there. And I lift it up, and what do I find? But I find a spare, a jack, and a tire iron. All three in that car. There was never any spare, jack, or tire iron in that car. And I know 150% positive, never there. I would have never paid somebody to tow my car if there was the slight possibility that those were in there. I tore the whole trunk apart trying to find them, and all I found was empty space. And now they're there. I don't know what the hell's going on. And they just shut CERN down, so maybe.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When you we were discussing this via messages, and when you told me, I was like, so I'll let you go through the whole thing. But I was telling my wife, I was like, I remember when he had to get his car towed because he didn't have, I said, I'm not usually a good character witness. However, I do remember this. And, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. That's wild.
But like, you can see to this day when you open the trunk, we could not ever put anything extremely heavy in my trunk because there was nothing under there, and the whole thing's caved in because there was nothing there. But there's something there now. It is insanity.
I even played devil's advocate, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, well, did your sister buy one? Did I tell you? He was like, hell no, she didn't.
No, nobody's just going to buy a spare. I even looked at my Walmart because I hate Walmart anyway. I don't usually shop there.
Well, you're saying it wrong.
They don't typically keep spares in the store. So I went to my Walmart.com, and sure enough, still sitting in the checkout cart, I was a spare.
Well, you know why it's still there. You put it in there. Walmart.
And a tire iron.
Walmarts.com.
Yeah. Well, my wife was like, is it possible you got drunk and went to Walmart and bought it and come back and put it? I said, there's
The
no
first
way.
half of that story is possible. The second half of that story is not possible.
I couldn't have got, if I would. Now, if I was buzzed and was capable of driving to Walmart, I would have remembered.
Yeah.
If I was so messed up I couldn't remember, I wouldn't have made it to Walmart.
Yeah.
And
you would have bought a bunch of other shit you didn't need.
They're all three in their proper place, like the tires screwed in properly.
And you wouldn't have done that.
Little holder and the tire irons where it's supposed to go. No, if I would have got drunk and bought that, it'd have been sitting on top of the cardboard that's caved in because there was no fucking spare there.
End of story. Point blank. Period.
And
he was shooketh, if you know what I mean.
No, I was like, you're not expecting it on some random Tuesday that your whole world is going to come crashing down from the fucking spare tire.
Yeah,
it's insanity. We're gonna have to cover this glitches in the matrix or something.
Well, no new patrons. But no, this goes towards where you're at.
Well, I always point out I laugh when I say something and you just move on like I never spoke.
So, but the comments on Spotify, and I apologize for not seeing this earlier, but I didn't. We had a comment about how they loved the long episode for Chad Langford. You know, every now and then they like a long episode. The artist known as Johnny said he liked the episode a lot and likes the long form. Keep up the great work. But there was also on the Patreon, there was a message. I'm trying to get back to it. Is he the one? Yes. So our friend that sent us the cast, Mr. Whitmire, said that he had a recommendation about Sasquatch abductions or killings. He's read that a lot of them, and have we ever done one? And I was like, no, we have not done one, any recent ones. So that isn't talking about glitches in the Matrix. CERN. See, I've kicked around the idea of doing something about CERN every time they fire it up. I'm just afraid that we'd be rabbit hole chasing dates. But the cornucopia supposedly is back.
The cornucopia is proof positive that the Mandela effect is real to me. That shit was there. You cannot. That's how I know what a damn cornucopia is.
I agree with you. That's the way I was. I was like, if anybody else had been like, there's no other way a fine, upstanding Southern boy knows what a cornucopia is other than what is this thing on my underwear tag?
Yeah, for real. They say it's back, but I've not seen proof of it being back yet. I've saw, but hell, with AI, you can't trust anything anymore, which is probably what they want. They just can't believe anything. And here, I got a damn conspiracy theory for you that I think I'm on to something here. These fucking data centers, they're not data centers, bro. They are powering batteries for underground bunkers, and they don't need to be cooled with fresh water. They're just diverting fresh water to the underground bunkers for them rich sumbitches, because they know something bad's coming down the pipe. And they're damn fault for it. That's why they know. It's because, hell, we screwed everything up. Might as well go underground.
I concur.
Because that's why, I mean, you know, it was concerning me that they're saying they're using the fresh water and it's going away. They know if it was truly converting using it to cool, the fresh water would turn into steam, which would go into the atmosphere, which would come back down as rain. But from everything that I've seen, that's just not happening because they're not using them to cool the data centers. They're taking it and stirring it, and they're going to stir it for themselves, the greedy bastards.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And here I am worried about my student loans, and in 5 years, AI, there's going to be AI robots, there's going to be flock cameras, there's going to be military drones roaming the streets, and I'm like, well, I better pay off that debt.
I can't stand flock cameras, to be honest with you. Every time I go buy one, my wife uses the Waze app. Every time I go buy one, I put hidden police camera.
You're doing the Lord's work, my friend.
Well, I'm trying. It's the little things. If I had one of those battery-powered metal Sawzall kind of things, I'd go down there. There's one half a mile from my house. Pointed at the entrance to a church, of all places. I'd cut that sucker down, and then I'd take it to my local meth area and be like, have at it, boys.
Yeah, they're like, don't let the meth heads know that there's so much copper in it, and a half ounce of gold in each flock camera. Don't let them know that. They might use it against them.
All right, let's get into it. Tonight we are giving you twofer, like he said in the opening. We're going to start up in the Northeast with the case of Sophia McKenna and Spencer Mugford. Now, Sophia McKenna was born on March 7th, 1996 in North Stonington, Connecticut. I bet they have Grey Poupon up there.
Dude, there's no way. That's probably where Grey Poupon comes from.
Probably so. Now, she was the daughter of Michelle from a previous marriage, and no, I don't know Michelle's last name. That's the best I can do in my research. She also had two siblings, a brother Justin and a younger sister Grace. As a child, Sophia was happy and intelligent and was full of energy. Her mother's divorce from Sophia's dad when Sophia was around 6 or 7 years old, left a profound psychological hole in her. Now, during her high school years, Sophia was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and as a result, she experienced emotional lows such as depression with sadness and gloom, alternating with the manic episodes of euphoria. Now, these mood swings could affect her behavior and clarity of thought. She received treatment, including medication and psychotherapy, to manage the symptoms. However, since there is no cure for bipolar disorder, it did significantly impact her daily life. Sophia's behavior became unpredictable and her life was chaotic. She had unstable relationships, and the people she interacted with often displayed complex behaviors too. In 2015, Sophia met a young man named Austin, and he was immediately smitten. And so the two started a relationship that lasted 3 years. However, this relationship was pretty unpleasant for both Sophia and her mother, Michelle. Austin was described by several things that I saw online, as well as some quotes from Michelle, as a problematic young man, somewhat aggressive, and was rumored to be on the steroids for his sports career. Now, this combination with her bipolar disorder made their relationship very unstable. The couple often argued and yelled at each other, even to the point of physical altercations. Most of the time, due to her mental health issues, Sophia was typically the instigator of these conflicts. And on several occasions, Austin's aggressive outburst led to injuries to Sophia, requiring hospital visits. Now, around April of 2018, Sophia discovered that Austin was cheating on her, and she decided to end their relationship. With the relationship romantically over, the two decided that they would continue to see each other periodically, because that always works out. You know, always. Now, despite her struggles, Sophia tried to move forward. She was a very attractive young woman and briefly became a model for a local company advertising their jeans. This helped her finance her education, and she eventually graduated as a massage therapist and found employment at an exclusive spa called the Red Door in a luxurious hotel. It was here at the Red Door that she met Spencer Mugford. Now, Spencer was 20 years old and worked at the same hotel. that the spa was located in, but he worked as a sailing instructor. Spencer was originally from Winter Haven, Florida, loved the ocean, and was an experienced swimmer. His family moved to Rhode Island, and he had recently begun attending the University of Connecticut. Spencer and Sophia became fast friends and reportedly dated for some time, but neither of their families approved, as the young couple was frequently surrounded by trouble. According to Michelle, Sophia's mother, she was deeply concerned about Sophia's well-being, especially since Sophia and Austin continued to meet often over drinks. This had become an almost daily occurrence, and ultimately Sophia's relationship with Spencer did not last, but they decided to remain friends. The exact reason for this is unclear, though it appears Sophia might have gotten back with Austin. Now, despite this, Sophia and Spencer continued to spend a lot of time together, both at work and outside of work. And on May 26, 2018, which was the Memorial Day weekend, Sophia, now 21 years old, and Spencer, now 20 years old, set out on the Long Island Sound. And for those of you that do not know what the Long Island Sound is, it is the strip of water between Long Island and Connecticut. Now, this part of Connecticut's coast is dotted with small seaside towns that me and Coach can't afford to buy a drink at.
I can't afford to buy a drink at 7-Eleven anymore.
Dude, I went by Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and it's damn near $4 for a coffee.
Don't get me started. I will. We could turn this whole podcast into something different if you want to, man. We went to damn Crystals. She got 3 crystals. I got 3 crystals, and we got their junkyard fries to share, and it was $27. We did not get a drink. We did not get a water. We didn't get it DoorDash. This was in their drive-thru. I'm like, I want to be like, you're Crystals, bro. Do you not realize that?
Y'all still have that sack full for like $6?
I was telling my coworker this, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the other night we went on. Me and my wife went on a date night. They went on a date night to Crystals. First of all, he said they ordered 2 sackfuls like they used to do back in the day, and he pulled around. They didn't give him a total at the thing. He drove around to the window, and he's like $54, and he's like, "Oh no, man, I just got the 2 sackfuls." And he's like, "Yeah, no, $54." He said he drove off.
I would have.
He didn't say nothing to the guy. He didn't say no thank you. He didn't say bye. He was like, "Yeah, man, it's $54." And he just drove away. He said, and we went, he said, then I took her to Longhorn. He said, if we're going to pay that much for Crystals, we'll pay it for Longhorn. He said they ate at Longhorn. After tip, it was $4 cheaper than the Crystal. I said, this is insanity. And now we got parasitic lettuce that's going to kill us all. It was hilarious because somebody sent me, because everybody knows I love Taco Bell. Somebody said, "Oh man, you can't go to Taco Bell no more. Why not?" I'm like, "Well, the lettuce is contaminated." I was like, "I ain't got fucking nothing to worry about at Taco Bell. I'm buying their lettuce."
Yeah, I'm not there for a salad.
Like, first of all, if I can handle their half meat.
True.
There's like 30% actual beef in that meat.
The rest of it's face meat.
If your little tummy tum can't handle Taco Bell, your genetics are weak and you do not need to reproduce.
That's true.
Anyway, I'm not belittling the virus. I know it's pretty bad. I'm just talking about Taco Bell in general when there's no outbreak of a deadly poop virus.
Yeah. Well, I saw another thing today. Says, so let me get this straight. COVID was a respiratory infection that killed a lot of the population, and there was a toilet paper shortage. But now we have death diarrhea, and everybody's got plenty of toilet paper. I was like, man's got a point.
He's got a point.
So also on the coast, the Connecticut coast, you have some industrial cities mixed with some forests, swamps, and lighthouses. For whatever reason, Sophia and Spencer decided to meet up late that Saturday night of Memorial Day weekend and head out on the water. Now, they parked at the University of Connecticut's Avery Point campus, and were going to begin their night there. Growing up in the greater New London area, Sophia had heard the story of the New London Ledge Lighthouse, which sits less than a mile off the coast. It was built in 1909 and doesn't look like your traditional lighthouse. It looks like an actual house, and the lighthouse has actually been automated since 1987. It is maintained by the local Maritime Society, so no one is actually there full time. This lighthouse is haunted, or said to be haunted, and there have been reports of unexplained noises, doors opening for no reason, the foghorn would blare in the middle of the night without anybody pressing the button, boats would become mysteriously untied, all of it. And legend says that the New London Ledge Lighthouse is haunted by a ghost of a man named Ernie who jumped off the top of the lighthouse after his wife left him for another man. Regardless of whether it's haunted or not, the keepers who were stationed there really did not enjoy their jobs. Apparently, it was a shit assignment. And shortly before it was automated, one of the last log entries by a keeper read, quote, "Rock of slow torture, Ernie's domain, hell on earth. May New London Ledge's light shine on forever because I'm true. I will watch it from afar while drinking a brew," end quote.
Very poetic.
Yes. Now, more than likely, both Sophia and Spencer would have known the stories about the lighthouse and probably thought it would be fun to visit it, that Saturday night. Now, that is a serious commitment because we're talking a mile offshore in the dark. Problem is, it is considered trespassing to actually head out to the lighthouse. New London sits on the mouth of the Long Island Sound and it stretches into the Block Island Sound. You may be thinking this sounds familiar. Well, it's because it is also home to the infamous Montauk Island. Now, another problem with visiting the lighthouse is Spencer and Sophia would have to navigate some heavy shipping traffic. Spencer did work on boats and was described as a strong swimmer, so the idea of going out to sea at night is very perilous, but more than likely he knew what he was doing. However, and this has been debated, from what I can gather and from what all the official reports state is they set sail or set out on the water in a small 14-foot boat that did not have a mast, which meant that Spencer had to paddle the boat out into the cold pitch black waters after having some adult beverages and maybe some herbal cigarettes. So what happens next is what takes this story from spooky to downright terrifying. And this is the first sound clip that I want to play for you, if I can find it. Let's see. This is there. Let me make sure it's here.
Yo, we're out here in the fucking ocean. With that is the land. Like, we still have to get to there. Wait, where? Oh, we're almost there. Okay.
Just before 2 a.m.
So that was a clip from a YouTube video that had that embedded in it. And the problem is it's a grainy video that she's using Spencer's phone to record, and then she actually uploads it to his Snapchat or her Snapchat. I can't remember. I think
it would probably most likely be his because...
Right. I think it was his, and then she sent it to her Snapchat.
Yeah, because she doesn't even have her phone on her.
No, she does not.
Which is odd to me because I don't go anywhere without my phone.
Well, and you can hear her talking about where they're at. You can see the back of him rowing. I think he's got on a life jacket. I'm not 100% certain. It's been a minute since I looked at it. Now, like Coach said, she did not have her phone, and apparently she had left it in the car when they parked at Avery Point. So not long after that video was posted at 2 a.m., a photograph of Sophia was uploaded to Spencer's Snapchat. in it, you can see that she's playfully posing with the concrete barrier of the lighthouse in the background, and you can see where they had stenciled no trespassing on the side of it. What happened just minutes after this photograph remains a complete mystery. Just 5 minutes after that photograph was posted at 2:05 a.m., the first call from Spencer's cell phone was made to Sophia's mother, Michelle, which was followed by 3 more calls at 2:06, 2:08, and the last call at 2:09 a.m. Michelle, who was asleep at the time, didn't answer any of the calls. There was no voicemails, and no text messages were followed up or left. The 911 service also didn't receive any calls from that number that night. The following morning, Spencer's younger brother was graduating high school in Rhode Island, and Spencer never called. His family was looking for him to arrive late and were calling him, but he never showed, and the family's calls to his cell phone were never answered. His family then went to his apartment in Rhode Island, and he was not there, and it appeared as if he had not come home that Saturday evening. So that same Sunday morning, Sophia had actually made plans to go shopping with her boyfriend, and he was waiting and waiting and waiting, but she never showed. He was calling her phone, which was ringing, but there was no answer. Then it started going straight to voicemail. So the boyfriend calls Sophia's mother, Michelle, and she hadn't heard from Sophia at all, but she said that she would check her phone to see if she had called, and that's when she finds all the calls from the night or the early morning hours. And it was from a number that she didn't recognize at first. So when she called that number back, she hears Spencer's voicemail recording. So Spencer and Sophia were both reported missing at around 5 p.m. that day, and upon learning of the Snapchat videos and the pictures that had been sent out, they had a pretty good idea of what happened or where they were at. Immediately, search and rescue go to the new London Ledge Lighthouse to see if they were there, and when authorities arrived, there was absolutely no sight of them. The only thing they found was Spencer's Yukon t-shirt, and this was the same shirt that he was wearing in the video, the Snapchat video. But when they found his shirt, it was tied around one of the lighthouse cleats, and that is the little thing that you tie your boat to. Now, more than likely, the hypothesis is that he had used his shirt to secure the boat that they were in to the lighthouse, but the only thing there was his shirt. There was no boat there.
Well, clearly it came untied, bro.
Well, clearly. Shit.
I mean, I really think that's what happened, is he tied it there and it came undone.
So the boat's actually sighted near Truman's Beach upside down with a broken paddle. Now, Truman's Beach is across the Sound on the north shore of Long Island, so nobody knows actually what happened. The photos and the videos posted by Sophia and Spencer confirmed that they were indeed at the lighthouse, and as a result, the police immediately dispatched 20 different Coast Guard units to the area. The Coast Guard, firefighters, and police conducted searches by air, sea, and land, and they do locate Sophia's car at the university campus. And inside it, they find her cell phone, which explains why she used Spencer's phone to call her mom. Now, it would be about 2 weeks before any new answers were discovered. And on June 8th, a fisherman spotted Spencer's body floating in the water between Dumpling Island and Fisher's Island. Strangely, Spencer's body was found in the opposite direction from where the boat was found. The boat was actually found south of the lighthouse, and Spencer was found north of the lighthouse. Now, practical thinking would lead one to believe that both would have traveled with the currents, but this is not the case. An autopsy would confirm Spencer had drowned, but the looming question was, where's Sophia? To this day, no one knows where she is or what happened to her. Over the years, there have been a lot of theories surrounding the case, from foul play to kidnapping to murder. And there were some domestic abuse incidents in Sophia's relationship with her boyfriend, Austin. So people began to theorize that maybe Austin followed Sophia and Spencer out there, feeling that they were up to something. And at the lighthouse, he murdered Spencer and then did something with Sophia. Problem with this is Spencer's autopsy found no contusions or signs of a struggle or altercation. He simply drowned. Another theory was that Spencer had an accident at the lighthouse or on the water, and then for some reason at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, some predator stumbled across Sophia, trapped, and took her away. Which, again, plausible, but I don't know.
Well, the fact remains that she made that many phone calls to her mom, but no phone calls to 911.
Right. And we'll get into that because the other theory is that when they got to the lighthouse, Spencer took off his T-shirt, tied it around the cleat, secured the boat. Whatever happened, they are inside the lighthouse, come back out, the boat's floated away. He has taken that picture, that Snapchat picture of Sophia, and as he's leaving, it's kind of drifting away. When they come back out, maybe 5 minutes after, that's when she begins calling her mom, and he's a strong swimmer, so he may have been able to see the boat thinking, I'm just going to jump in, swim out there, and row back. But he had already rowed with her in the boat to the lighthouse. He was probably a little bit intoxicated or high and may have just become exhausted and slipped under the surface and drowned. But it still doesn't answer what happened to Sophia. And she was not known to be a strong swimmer. And so the question is, would she have jumped in to try to save Spencer if he went under? Her family have stated they don't think she would have. According to them, she was not comfortable on the water at all, which raises the question that you posed, that she didn't call 911, she only called her mom. Now, a lot of people have theorized that she may have felt that she already had some charges against her and she was probably a little bit buzzed or a little high, and calling 911 would have gotten her a trespassing charge.
Right.
And so maybe she's thinking, I can call my mom, she'll answer, she'll let someone know to get a boat and come out here and save us.
And that makes me think, I also think that may have happened after he was in the water.
Yes.
Why would he not call his mom?
Correct.
His dad?
Correct. I agree with that. Now, the only other theory that anybody has come up with is that Sophia more than likely slipped off the edge of the lighthouse in a panic, trying to run up and down the side, trying to locate him, and likely drowned. But her body's never been found. Now, detectives tried to reconstruct the events of that day, May 26, 2018, and it had begun as a typical late spring day. It was sunny and warm with the upcoming weekend, promising plenty of fun. The city was gearing up for Memorial Day celebrations. Sophia actually had the day off, but Spencer was actually scheduled to cover a shift for a coworker from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So after his shift, they had planned to meet up, and then that's when they headed to the lighthouse. It's unclear whether they met anyone before and had some drinks. However, it was established that Sophia, we do know she did park her car at the campus around 2 a.m. Well, not around 2 a.m. That's when the video was. But for anyway, she did park her car there. But again, why leave your phone unless it was low on charge? But still, I don't know. That's kind of weird. But the prevailing theory is that it was low on battery life and that they wasn't going to be out there long enough for it to go completely dead.
What young girl?
That's my question.
Leaves their phone. I'm a 44-year-old man. I don't leave my phone anywhere.
No, I don't either. Now, they also said that boat they took illegally. So she may have been thinking, not only are we trespassing, we've stolen a boat to get out here. So I don't know. So going back to finding that boat, it was located approximately 7.5 miles west of the lighthouse. And according to the police reports, they just said that was the boat that they used. They didn't conclusively prove it. They didn't do fingerprints, nothing. It sounds like there were fingerprints on the boat, but they never made that public. And they were also, like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of discrepancies about, is it a John boat? Was it a sailboat? Was it a little dinghy?
I've heard it was a sailboat, but with no sail.
Yeah.
They were paddling.
And then I saw something where they were in like a sea kayak, but hell no. You can't get me to, like, I got one of them cheap ass kayaks from the Walmarts. It's nerve wracking enough in a pond. You couldn't catch me dead in a kayak rowing a mile to a haunted ass lighthouse, not with somebody else in the back. Not happening. It'd be two movements.
Everything I saw was saying it was a sailboat with no sail, or they didn't put the sail up. They decided to row for whatever reason.
Now, some of this next information is kind of redundant, but I wanted to include some of it. Spencer's father knew that he was meeting Sophia that evening, which caused concern for him because he knew some problems that Sophia was facing. And Spencer's mother mentioned that her son had planned to go fishing with a friend, but she felt like that was a cover story and he really was meeting Sophia. And she had last spoke with Spencer around 10 p.m. when he wished her a good night. When she realized that something had happened, that's when they report both he and Sophia missing around 6:30 p.m. Austin, Sophia's ex-boyfriend, on again, off again boyfriend, he contacted the sheriff and informed them that they were both missing. Now, allegedly, he explained that he knew where they were going and he had allowed Sophia to go out there with Spencer. He also...
Allowed?
Yeah, well, that goes back to kind of solidify what kind of person they said he was. Now, I
don't like that.
I don't either.
He allowed her to do that. You don't control people.
I agree with you. So we talked about the video. We talked about the T-shirt. And that's the redundant part that I was trying to get away from. Now, state authorities announced that they searched that night and then they started searching the next day, but they halted the search when a storm rolled in, and then they announced that they were suspending the search until new leads or signs of the come forward. Now, that decision shocked the families and the friends of both of the Sophia and Spencer. So families and friends continued searching. They put up pictures and missing persons flyers that had information about both of them throughout the city. They appealed to the public to report any information, no matter how inconsequential it may have been. Despite the large number of people on the streets at the time of their disappearance, there was no witnesses that ever came forward. And the families continued searching for several days, but they just came up with more and more questions. What had happened? Why did Sophia repeatedly call her mom? Why didn't she just leave a voicemail or call the police? Which we've kind of hashed over that. Talked about the legal issue. Okay, so just a few days earlier, Sophia and Spencer had some legal issues. Spencer had been arrested for DUI, and Sophia had charges pending for aggressive behavior, possibly due to those reasons. That's another reason she may not have called 911, and she called her mother. Talked about his body being found. Trying to make sure there's just everything I found is kind of, it has little nuggets of information, but it's all repetitive. Cameras at the lighthouse and the campus were reportedly not working, so there was no video recordings of that night's events. It was also revealed that the lighthouse was never checked inside, even though they should have gone in there.
At ZocDoc, we know being a healthy adult is like living in a video game. Every day has side quests, taxes, laundry, birthdays, and just when you're leveling up, you have to book a doctor. The insurance portal crashes, they put you on hold, your doctor doesn't take your plan, game over. We see you, so we made booking a doctor easy. Download ZocDoc, search by specialty, insurance, and availability. Book instantly, no cheat codes required. Find a doctor you love with ZocDoc.
Yeah, it was like everything that they were on camera were either quote-unquote dummy cameras, which is pretty crazy. Why? You're a college campus. Why are you going to have dummy cameras? And then dummy cameras and then live feed cameras. So nothing was recording. It was all on a live feed, which is pretty nuts to me too.
Yeah. So in July of 2018, Sophia McKenna's close relatives created a Facebook page titled Searching for Sophia McKenna to keep the case alive. The page served as a platform for sharing information and pleas for information from the public. Weeks after the disappearance, a strange incident did occur. Michelle received a message from Sophia's social media account requesting money. Since the police were in possession of her phone, this raised suspicion, suggesting a possible hacker's involvement. The investigation into Spencer's death and her disappearance basically hit a dead end late July 2018. Unofficially, we've talked about those theories, but another one was around Austin, and some speculated that he could have attacked Sophia and his friends helped him dispose of Spencer. Their tumultuous relationship was known for arguments and physical altercations, and that's a matter of public record, so that's not me just talking shit about somebody. Michelle, Sophia's mother, had actually witnessed several of their disputes. In what could have been an act of revenge or a new start, Sophia dated another guy, bringing him to her apartment. Austin, infuriated, rushed to her apartment where neighbors witnessed him furiously banging and kicking the door, hurling insults at Sophia. After about 15 minutes of silence, Sophia thought that he had left and opened the door, but he was still there and attempted to push Sophia and get in the apartment. Fortunately, she was able to close the door quickly, and then neighbors heard his threats, and Austin said that he was going to cut her throat if she didn't open the door. So by then, police and Sophia's mother, Michelle, had arrived, and Austin was arrested. And then the next day that was May 8th. On May 9th, a court order went into effect, and Sophia mentioned previous attacks by Austin, provided photos of her injuries, expressed fear for her life due to his stalking, and the court issued a restraining order prohibiting Austin from being in the same area as Sophia. But since she's bipolar, later she felt guilty and petitioned the court to amend it so that Austin was only prohibited from being in the same apartment or same building as her. The man with Sophia at the time refused to disclose his identity and did not cooperate with the police, which I don't blame him. Which he's probably sitting there going, you didn't fucking tell me. You had a crazy ex. But a work friend of Sophia's revealed that they were under the impression that it was actually Spencer in the apartment when that all went down. And some other coworkers kind of confirmed that during that time is when they were actually dating. Witnesses also recounted an incident at the hotel where Austin showed up to her job and publicly threatened her there. Despite all of this, Austin and his father participated in the searches for both Spencer and Sophia using a private helicopter, distributed flyers with their images on them. Austin also posted on social media stating that Sophia was his girlfriend for 3 years and that she had no romantic relationship with Spencer. They were just friends. The post, seemingly emphasizing Sophia's association with him rather than her disappearance, appeared odd to people that read it. On July 10th, a memorial for Sophia was organized by her family and friends. Austin attended the event with Sophia's mother and later posted an now deleted message on social media that read, quote, "Rest in peace, baby. We'll see each other soon," end quote. Now, these actions raised eyebrows among Sophia's friends. Austin claimed to the authorities that he spent the entire day with Sophia on May 26 and that they continued to meet despite the court order, even making plans for the next day. A friend of Austin stated that around 3 a.m. on the night of the incident, Austin texted Sophia claiming to be at the gym with a friend. However, the family maintained he was home before heading to the gym, which is kind of a weird situation. Doesn't give him a real solid alibi. Another unnamed witness reported that Austin and his brother were invited to a party that day. Austin initially intended to go, but later messaged saying he was tired and wouldn't attend. So we really don't know where he was at when they set sail for the lighthouse. With no clear answers available, Austin's friends described him as temperamental and possibly exacerbated by steroid use. There were rumors of Austin, his brother, and a friend having connections with the Groton police, which kind of raises an eyebrow. Now, also, there was a woman from Austin's family that was allegedly married to the Groton police chief who was investigating Sophia's case, and complaints of police violence against that guy. Now, these claims were provided by Austin's friends who just happened to have a criminal past, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. The day after, a YouTube channel dedicated to Long Island disappearances posted a video about Sophia. Austin removes all photos of them together from his social media, which caused more confusion since they still don't know where she's at. And then another theory is that he had found a new girlfriend and wanted to avoid complications, and that's why he removed all the photos with Sophia. One of the fringe ones theories is that Sophia was killed to prevent her from testifying against Austin in a domestic violence case, because without her testimony, there wouldn't have been enough evidence and the case would have been dismissed, and that's exactly what happened. Officially, according to the police, he is not a suspect, and that is a speculative theory at best. The last thing is, in 2019, an independent detective found several bones near the shore and immediately reported it to police. However, investigators who arrived at the scene determined that the bones were of animal origin, not human origin. And that's basically that case. Nobody knows anything else.
Well, here's the thing about her. The speculation for her being possibly still alive or taken to another location and something bad happening to her is there were also two other bodies that entered the water that night in separate incidents. So there's 4 people going into that water that night. 3 of them have been found.
Yeah.
3 of them have been found. She's the only one that hasn't. And the frantic calls make me believe that she was calling after Spencer went into the water. They said that she was not a strong swimmer. So if she was calling after he went in the water and something went wrong, is she going to make 9 phone calls and then dive into the water?
I don't think so. I
don't either.
But again, it's just, it boggles my mind, and you brought it up, that you don't have any security cameras where people could tie up a boat to your damn haunted lighthouse.
Yeah, there's no cameras out there. The cameras at the school that was supposedly recording them were dummy cameras. There was nowhere where they were on camera. They were places with cameras, but they never were on camera.
Right. I don't know, man.
It sounds weird when you say it, what I'm saying, but it's true. They would have assumed they were on camera because they could have seen the cameras.
Right. And if they were out there illegally, they may have tried to position themselves to where they were underneath the cameras so that they weren't seen, or at least their faces were not seen.
Right.
But, man, that whole ship, he had to navigate. I'm thinking, I think somewhere it was like 0.78 or 0.83 miles from where they put in to the lighthouse in the dark. And there's heavy shipping, like tankers and stuff. And you're in a little bitty ass 14-foot boat. Hell no. Hell no. But anyway, like I said, I don't know. The most plausible theory is kind of like what Coach said. He jumps in, thinks he can swim out there to get the boat because he can see it, realizes real quick, oh shit, gets exhausted, slips under and drowns. She sees him go under. She starts calling her mom, and either in a panic running up and down the side, she slips in, drowns, or she jumps in thinking she could get to him. I don't know, though. I think the theory I like is that she may have slipped and fell in. But it doesn't explain why her body's never been found. But anyway, so that's the case of...
Can we imagine that do you think, what are the likelihood that something bad happened to him, he drowned, and his was accidental, she's stranded, she's screaming for help. Somebody comes along and they have no intention of helping. You know what I'm saying? That's terrible to think.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, and the thing is, we talk about it all the time. It's a lot of these cases that we've covered, whether people want to admit it or not, it's crimes of opportunity, and that's just terrifying.
Well, as unlikely as that is, and this very small chance of it, we've proven time and time again that it does. We cover these cases where something bad like that happened.
Yeah. I don't know. This one's, her body not being found is a head scratcher. You know, his is pretty cut and dry. He drowned, you know, probably trying to get to the boat, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, the whole boyfriend theory doesn't hold water to me because the fact that Austin didn't have any signs of a struggle on him. Could that boyfriend have waited until he jumped in the water? Could the boyfriend have been the one to untie the boat?
Well, that takes into a lot of stuff.
It's so far-fetched.
Well, what I was going to say was it's almost trying to roofie somebody, wait on the roofie to take effect, but they're traveling around, kind of like we talked about in the previous case. That's a whole lot of ifs that you're hoping work out for him to jump in. Hell, he could have easily just said, fuck it, we're just stuck.
Or he could have said, fuck it, we have a phone. Yeah, we're probably going to get a trespassing charge, but that's better than
being dead. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. All right, ladies and gents, we teased you with a twofer, but I got looking at my notes for our next case, and that would put this twofer way over our normal allotted time because, you know, Coach is a very busy man. He penciled me in.
Well, yeah, and I think I like the shorter episodes anyway, man. The last couple of weeks, I've been like, damn, man, these are like 2 hours long.
Yeah, now, that other one was long. I know that a lot of people like those long ones, and we have in the wings the Beaumont children's case. And so that's going to be at least a 2-parter, possibly a 3-parter, depending on what we can get done in the first part. But like I said, Kurt McFall, I thought it was a shorter case when I told Coach that we were just going to combine them. But it's actually not that. So
well, it made it on Unsolved Mysteries, homie.
It did. It sure did. It sure did. But anyway, so if you've stuck around this long thinking, man, I'm going to get Kurt McFall, guess what? You're going to have to wait.
Well, we never said which was we just said we had twofers. We didn't say what the twofer was.
That's true. And they could be thinking if they don't make it this far, well, hell, they did 2 people. But anyway, recommendations. I have been running around like my head's on fire. My ass is trying to catch it. I've not really watched anything new. We are still on Fringe. I still like that show, man. It's pretty good. We finished season 1. I was trying to think if there was anything that I had watched that was outstanding. I did. Okay, I do have a recommendation. It's for a YouTube video / another podcast, and it's the Sean Ryan Show. He interviewed Mike Rowe, and man, I'm gonna tell you something. I knew Mike Rowe was a very, very smart man, but his vocabulary is off the chart. He is like just a down to earth. The more I listen to him being interviewed, the more respect I have for him. He's a very, very bright man. So if you like Dirty Jobs, you like Mike Rowe, there's a lot of funny stories in that podcast. If you watch it now, it's close to 3 hours. It's a long form, but they talk about his foundation, how that started. You know, talk about some defining moments in his life. They go through some Dirty Job stuff, and then they talk about how he feels like they're really starting to turn the corner and get some more blue collar jobs out there. So that will be my recommendation.
You know, the more I've learned about Mike Rowe, the less I like about him, though, to be honest with you. I don't want to get into it. It's just, I don't care for the man anymore.
Here I am building him up and you just shit on him.
I'm sorry. I hate him. I gotta be honest with the audience, my friend. My recommendation is something that I've only seen bits and pieces of because my wife decided to watch it without me. And from what I've seen, it's pretty interesting, but it's called Relentless. It's on HBO Max. It's a 6-part documentary about an investigation of the disappearance of 21-year-old Christina Whitaker from Hannibal, Missouri. I come in from work and she's on the next part and I'm like, well, what the hell's going on? She's like, we'll just have to watch it later. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. But other than that, I've not been really doing anything watching TV. I've been too damn busy. I bought a new video game and I'm enthralled with it. So
there you go.
That's right.
All right, Coach, you got anything else?
Well, hell, I don't.
Deuces.